my name is Amber. I work at the Shawano branch, and today for my chapter of the week, I will be reading On the Fence by Kasie West. She's one of my favorite contemporary YA authors. I really like how she writes about serious issues in a way that's still understandable and easy to relate to. So here is the first chapter of On the Fence. The engine whined against my attempt to go faster. The yellow lines of the roads went by on my left in a blur. The ocean on my right didn't seem affected at all. It created the illusion that I wasn't going fast enough. The gentle curves on this road begged to be taken at high speeds. I pushed down another inch on the gas pedal and the car lurched forward. My heart picked up speed and I couldn't keep the smile from my face. Wind whipped through the cabin, sending my hair flying and drying the sweat on my forehead from the last practice of the school year. Sorry, it's a little hard to read in the mask, but I need to keep it on to keep everyone here safe. Red and blue lights flashed in the rearview mirror. I pointlessly lifted my foot off the gas pedal, as if that would help. I looked up for a place to pull off the road, already coming up with my story. By the time the cop reached my window, pad in hand, I thought of two great possibilities. When I saw his face, all my excuses were gone. I sighed and rolled down the window. "Charlotte Reynolds, we meet again," he said. "Hi, officer." "What is this, the third time?" "Is it? Crap. What were the odds the same cop had to pull me over 3 times? My dad says hi?" He laughed. "Your dad is a good cop, but his name isn't going to get you out of it this time. Not when you were going 15 miles over the speed limit." "Really? It couldn't have been 15. "It was. I need your license." "Can I look at your radar? Make sure you read it right?" He raised his eyebrows at me, and I grudgingly handed over my license. My dad was going to kill me. I walked in the front door and threw my bag under the entryway table, still angry about the stupid ticket. "Where is everyone?" I yelled out. I followed the sounds of laughter into the kitchen. A blender sat in the middle of the island, surrounded by a bottle of Tabasco sauce, ketchup, and eggshells. Gage looked up and caught my eye. "Charlie," just in time. I could smell from the doorway whatever awful smoothie they had just created. It smelled like rotten tomatoes. Oh no. "Oh yes," Nathan snaked his arm around my shoulder and pulled me up to the counter. "Grab another glass." A glass was added to the others on the counter. "On 3, we down it," Gage said, pouring some of the soupy concoction from the blender into 5 glasses. "Why are we doing this?" I asked, looking at the 4 guys around the kitchen island. 3 of them were my brothers, Jerome, Nathan, and Gage. And the other might as well have been Braden. He had been our neighbor for 12 of the 16 years of my life, and was always around. 1, to prove we can. 2, to toughen our stomachs for the pounding that we're going to get in football tomorrow. So in other words, just to be idiots. "That too," Gage said, holding up his glass. "Ready?" "Losers have to wear it," Braden said. Yeah, come on already. I want to learn before dark." I took a closer whiff. I shouldn't have. It smelled worse than Gage's closet. "She's not going to do it. Charlie's chickening out," Nathan said, pointing at me. "No, you're stalling. He was right. I wasn't going to drink it. But neither were they. That was the whole game here. We have done this before. Well, not this particular one, but various versions over the years. On the count of 3, everyone jump in the pool. On the count of 3, everyone yell, 'I'm a loser,' in the middle of them all. On the count of 3, everyone lick the person to your right." It was a game of bluff. If one person did it, the rest had to do something stupid as a punishment. If nobody did it, everyone was safe. The only person I was wary of in that moment was Braden. My brothers were easy to read. Tonight, I knew they weren't going to drink it the minute I walked in the kitchen. It was written all over their faces, twisted in disgust. But Braden, even after all these years, was still the wild card. I eyed him and he smiled at me. "Scared?" he mouthed. I shook my head and studied his eyes. They were hazel. Sometimes more green and sometimes more brown. They seemed more green at the moment, and I tried to figure out what that meant about his intention. Was he going to drink it? "Okay, close your eyes," Jerome said. "Glass is ready." I closed my eyes and did not want to wear this and have to take 2 showers tonight, before and after the run. 1, Braden cleared his throat next to me. That was a bluff, wasn't it? So that meant he wasn't going to drink it? 2, he bumped his elbow into mine. Crap, he was trying to trick me. So that meant he was going to drink it. 3, better to drink it than to wear it. I downed the glass in 3 big gulps, gagging only slightly. "Charlie," Nathan whined. "Seriously?" They all held a full glass in front of him. "Ha! Wear it, all of you." I looked at Braden, who had a smug look on his face, even though technically he'd lost. I had to learn his tell, so in the future I could avoid the horrid taste that coated my tongue. My stomach wasn't very happy either. Tastes like V8. "Ew, Charlie, never date a guy who likes V8, Gage said. I rolled my eyes. Ever since I turned 16, the age my father's dating ban officially lifted, my brothers constantly spouted off qualities they thought made a guy undateable. I was convinced that if I compiled all the things they had rattled off in the last 6 months, there would be no one in the world left for me to date. Why not, I asked. Because you can't trust a guy who drinks his vegetables. Plus, tomato juice breath is raunchy. My entire mouth slowly heated up from the Tabasco sauce. Then I got a punch of pepper that made me gag. Ugh, what did you guys put in this? I turned around and gave my tongue a high-pressured wash under the kitchen tap. There is no pouring going on, I said, spitting water everywhere. I listened as they dumped the horrible concoction on their heads to groans and complaints. Not worth the taste in my mouth. I gurgled and spit out one more mouthful of water. Okay, that was fun. Football tomorrow. You guys are all going down. I showed Braden on my way out of the kitchen, and he laughed, obviously knowing he was the only reason I ended up downing the drink. Wait, Jerome called. I want to run with you. I'm not waiting for you to shower. I crouched down and tightened my laces. He slicked his hair back, the Tabasco sauce tinging his black-red hair. Who said anything about showering? Let me grab my shoes. The smell lingering around Jerome as we ran made me sick to my stomach, probably because the smell reminded me of what sat in my stomach. It didn't help that it was a muggy summer night. Heat combined with moisture was not my favorite running condition. I distracted myself by trying to identify the trees in the park. I knew the big ones were eucalyptus. They grew all up and down the coast. They must like the salty air. Even where we lived 10 miles from the ocean, they thrived. 8 weeks of summer, Jerome said, interrupting my failed attempt to name any more trees. Then we'll be shackled by the oppressive chains again. Don't remind me. At least you have some freedom. You think college equals freedom? Yes. He laughed. Okay, yeah, it kind of does. But I still have classes and soccer, so it's not as free as it should be. Have you warned Nathan? I think he's looking forward to some freedom. Yeah, right. If it weren't for rules to stay within the strict confines of, Nathan wouldn't know what to do with himself. True. He glanced over at me, slightly out of breath. It was good to know I could still outrun my big brother. I wasn't even winded. What about you, he asked. Any preconceived notions about being an upperclassman I need to crush? Oh, please. I've been an upperclassman for 2 years already, considering I hung out with Nathan Gage and Braden my whole high school career. True. Maybe they did you a disservice with that. Maybe they should have left you suffer in the trenches for a while before calling you up. Maybe I should race you up the hill, I pointed ahead of us. The hill marked the beginning of mile 3. My stomach gurgled, not agreeing with my suggestion, but as soon as Jerome said you're on, I couldn't back down. As we powered up the hill, I noticed for the first time that it wasn't just muggy. Dark clouds hung overhead, rain clouds. He led for the first 50 yards or so, but it was a big hill. I saved my speed for when he lost his energy. I raced past him at the top. I bent over, now winded, and tried to catch my breath. Being a forward has spoiled you, I said. I hear midfielders all over the world collectively laughing at you. Whatever. It looks like it's gonna rain, I said, glaring at the sky again. We better still be able to play tomorrow. Oh, we'll play. We just might have to turn it into mud football. He looked at his sleeve and then flicked a chunk of bright glue off it. The visual made my stomach flick. An acid crept up the back of my throat. Hold on a minute. I walked to the side of the road and proceeded to puke in some bushes. The smell made me want to repeat the action, but I quickly walked away. Gross, Jerome said. I wiped my mouth with the back of the hand. Yeah, those raw eggs mixed with Tabasco did not sit very well, but I feel much better now. And I did. Let's go. I ran ahead, heading toward the path that led around the park, and then back into our neighborhood. Do you ever think you push yourself too hard, Jerome asked, once he was beside me. This coming from Mr. I go to UNLV on a soccer scholarship? I remember when he was first awarded that scholarship. Even though Nevada was his dream school, I had secretly hoped for a closer college. It was hard to let go of any of my brothers. I wanted to keep them close, safe. I was happy when he decided to come home during the summers. No, I don't think I pushed myself too hard. You gotta do your best to be the best, right? I guess. You guess? You're the one who's always saying that. The quote was taped to your bedroom door for years. Don't give me this, I guess. Besides, I pointed back towards the bushes. That has nothing to do with pushing myself, and you know it. I'm not even tired. That had to do with the drink I shouldn't have partaken of, the remnants of which you still have all over your shirt. True, we jogged a few more yards. Why did you? Why did I what? Why did you drink it? You knew we weren't going to, but I didn't know. Braden wouldn't. Like the time I knew you weren't going to kiss a random stranger? You did. All of you. Even Nathan. I was stuck telling the next 4 people I saw that I thought I was in love with my dog and asking if they knew where I could find help for it. He laughed so hard that He had to stop running from it. The punishment was funny, but the challenge was easy. That's why we all did it. What's your deal? You didn't like the random stranger we picked for you to kiss? Something like that. Actually, the random stranger was pretty cute. My issue was I didn't think he welcomed my advances. My brothers were cool, attractive. Most girls even described them as hot, with their tall athletic builds and stormy gray eyes. I'm sure the girls they kissed that day still talk about it. I was a tomboy. That day at the mall, the kiss a random stranger day, I was wearing warm-ups from basketball practice. My hair was greasy and pulled up into a ponytail, and my lips were chapped. I wasn't kissing some random cute guy who probably would have gagged. He wouldn't have been able to handle my awesomeness, I said out loud, which I could tell Jerome was waiting for a better answer. Not many can put up with your awesomeness. Ever since his laughing fit, we had slowed to a walk, and now I picked up the pace. I think that was meant as an insult, but I will take it as you agreeing with me. Now let's move. No more slacking. Yes, coach. When we got home, I felt sticky and rubber-legged, but my lungs were open and adrenaline coursed through my body. It was one of the reasons I ran, the high I felt. That night after collapsing in bed, I fell asleep immediately and slept like the dead, not a single dream. And that was the other reason I ran. So that is the first chapter of On the Fence by Kasie West. And just in case you're wondering, my mask is a sea otter.